In a fascinating turn of events, it appears that RFK Jr. and his campaign, well, they very well may be endorsing Donald Trump in the coming days. Because on Friday, there will be a rally held by Donald Trump in Arizona, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Nicole Shanahan will apparently be speaking and announcing something in relation to their campaign. And then, as we've seen with most recent interviews with Nicole Shanahan coming forward, talking about how what we're seeing is going to be one of the most impactful moments in the political landscape that we've seen in quite some time, I think we know exactly what this means. It could very well mean that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be endorsing Donald Trump, throwing his support and his candidates behind him, and getting a position within his cabinet. And if it's on one of the factors that is most important that many people within RFK Jr.'s camp care about, they very well could be swung into the concept of voting for Donald Trump. Jumping in now with NBC News, here we see RFK Jr. as Trump's health secretary. Here's what he wants to do. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an anti-vaccine activist, appears to be angling for a cabinet role. He has advocated dismantling core functions of federal health agencies. And I wonder why it could be that he could be advocating for something like that. Maybe the nature of the COVID era revealed this in its entirety, and you shouldn't even need to ask any more questions about why it could possibly be that we should need to dismantle core functions within the federal health apparatus. Just saying. And here's another thing that I find so remarkable specifically about the corporate press. Every single time they mention RFK Jr., they simply can't help but talk about the fact that he's an anti-vaccine activist, which is complete nonsense. RFK Jr. is not against vaccines. He is against forced inoculations, and not only that, he is not in favor of the current vaccine schedule as is presented to children, considering how many inoculations they are bombarded with after birth. That is something that we should address. But of course, he doesn't actually get any proper screen time from people within that of NBC News, CNN, ABC, CBS, or any of these other regime outlets. No, because their funding majority comes from pharma, and that is exactly why he is someone who is so consistently demonized by people within these landscapes. And what I would love to pay attention to here specifically would be that if RFK Jr. could actually get into that role of being the health secretary or the secretary of agriculture or responsible for the Federal Reserve, these are places where Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is very knowledgeable and could have an incredible impact that would be beneficial to the future of the country for generations to come. And that is something that I find most remarkable about this possibility for him signing on to the Trump campaign. Here we see now from CNN. My bad. Trump says he'd consider appointing RFK Jr. to a role in his administration. And this role in his administration, what I absolutely adore about this, like I've said, is the impact that this could have. And not only that, you would have to consider the nature of what it would mean for someone like RFK Jr. to actually sign on to Donald Trump's camp. Think of the history of his family within the Democrat Party and how this shifts the fundamental of that legacy just on the perceptual basis of history. It's genuinely stunning, but nonetheless, what's even more stunning was the announcement of this itself. Here we can see from the Gateway Pundit, breaking updated Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be addressing the nation from Phoenix, Arizona on Friday, where Trump is set to hold a rally. And people started to speculate, well, is this going to possibly be that RFK Jr. is addressing the nation from a Trump rally? And then this clip of Nicole Shanahan speaking with Dr. Drew and another one speaking with Tom Bellew came forward, and well, I think it says the entirety of the point and answers every question that many of us were wondering.
Let me ask you just one direct question.
Yeah.
Should we have our ear to the ground? Is something going to come soon?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Friday is going to be one of the biggest events in American election history.
What time? Where should I tune in?
The details will be shared.
Where?
Go to Bobby's X account, and Team Kennedy will be releasing a press release as well.
Okay.
And here now you can actually see where you can find that address. Link in the description down below. You'll be able to find access to this tweet as well as all of the sources that I've used for this video. Now, let's go ahead and move on. Here we see from Cernovich. The Democrat machine is impressive in its fascism. RFK Jr. wants to run in a primary? Too bad. Biden is the nominee? Coup. Kamala Harris is it? No debate in the DNC. RFK Jr. wants to run an independent? Have corrupt judges keep him off the ballot. That is what we're dealing with. And this is something that I find most important to tackle when we talk about this, is because every single time we love to see the standard of our sacred democracy held forward by the Democrats. And in the end, every single time they never actually mean democracy. It's just a filler word that they can put in to go ahead and sit there and morally grandstand to top you and act like they're more benevolent and noble because they stand for the will of the people. Of course, if you actually look at the actions of government, it's very clear that is not the case. But nonetheless, I digress. Moving on now to Clint Russell, here we see. If you didn't figure it out after Bernie Sanders, then you probably won't get it after RFK Jr., but I'll try anyway. If you're a Democrat voter, you need to realize that your party doesn't care even slightly about what you want to represent you. They force-fed you Hillary, Biden, and now Kamala, which if you're being honest with yourself, you probably didn't really like any of them. You held your nose and pulled the lever. Anyone but Trump, blah, blah, blah. He's a threat to democracy, right? So you're going to vote for the DNC machine, which just rigged 3 primaries in a row? The party that puppeted Biden until the 23rd hour only to force him out so the least liked VP in modern times could then be anointed? All while obliterating the Kennedy ticket with lawfare to keep him off the ballot. And they did this while lecturing you nonstop that they were the defenders of democracy. They hate you, they hate democracy, and if you don't send them packing this November, then they'll know with certainty that you are never going to demand better. Demand better. And that is exactly what I have to say to all of the different people that vote for the Democrat Party. Do you actually believe that these people stand for your values? Are they actually an individual who you could see representing something that you would want presented for future generations to be the moniker of what delivered your ideals to the future? Or is it that you see this person as nothing more than a puppet that is doing nonsensical hand waving and in the process casting shadows upon the wall, and much like you being trapped in Plato's political cave, you're assuming that those shadows cast on the wall are the symbols that are showing that they're going to be there for you. But in the end, all they're actually doing is flicking you off and throwing gang signs and telling you to go fuck yourself. I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section down below. Stay lovely, stay great, and most importantly, my friends, tell someone you love them. Peace out.